Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome to this live reading session with me. So, today we're going to be doing some live readings. The instructions are in the description if you are interested. So basically, there is the payment link. Just make sure to include your birth information, okay? So I need date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, and let me know if you have any questions. And we do have someone who has booked in, so that's great. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Alexandra. Welcome to you. Great. Okay, so yes, I am going to now enter in your birth information. So let's see. If I'm quiet, that's just because I'm trying to focus so I don't make any mistakes. But welcome. Yes, it's Thursday. It's Jupiter day, and Jupiter is now direct. Woohoo! About time. About damn time. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, I'm just double checking. Great. Hello, yes, welcome. So the instructions on how to book with me during this live session so the instructions are in the description box, so you can check those out. But we are now starting. Let's see. Also, just want to highlight, these are mini readings, right? They're quick readings, and if you are interested in booking a full reading with myself, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com, okay? Let's see. Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for being here, everyone. If you are interested in a live reading, if you want to ask me a question about your chart, then the instructions are in the description box. But also, you know what? If you're just curious, I know I'm sure a few people like to watch just out of curiosity, see how certain readings are done by certain astrologers. Okay. And again, just to remind you, these are just quick readings, but for more in-depth readings, things like that, you can always go to my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you so much. But you know what? I do hope that you find these readings to be helpful. All right. So let's have a look here, Alexandra, at your chart. And I'm just reading your question. Authenticity. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Okay, just give me a moment and let me just explore your chart. Square. Okay, so let's begin. And I will try my very best to break this down for you, Alexandra. Right. Authenticity, certainly a word that jumped out at me. I think that as a word is a really interesting word, to be authentic in your life, right? So I was thinking to myself, what in the chart can really highlight this authenticity? And One thing I'm going to say about this is the fact that you have your moon in the sign of Aquarius, right? So, Aquarius can certainly be a sign that's quite authentic and genuine and truthful. So, your inner world, your emotional world, is very much about this. So, being honest deep down about how you're feeling. But also, I think with Aquarius, Aquarius is a sign that can really stay true to its core values and beliefs. Aquarius is a sign that kind of says, you know what? Yeah, these are my convictions. This is my truth. This is what I feel. So for you to have the moon in Aquarius, we see this inner world of yours, right? Being about, okay, well, I want to be authentic. I want to be a genuine person. And I also think that a part of this involves you needing time alone, you needing time to sort of process your feelings, especially with the moon in the 12th house, right? Moon in Aquarius already can be like this, sort of saying, right, I need space. I need to be on my own for a little bit so that I can really just take this in or just process this feeling, this emotion. But to have it also in the 12th, this to me further implies that solitude is pretty massive to you, right? So perhaps this is a part of this authentic life that you live, right? It's being truthful and honest, perhaps to those that you care about, those that you love, right? Moon is very much about care and support and everything, emotional bonds. But yeah, you being honest to those that you care about and love and saying, hey, everyone, I need some time for me. Or hey, everyone, this is very overwhelming for me. I need a bit of space. So that those would just be a couple of examples there. Now, let's also explore the sun. So, that's the sun is actually the first celestial body that came to my mind when I saw that word authentic, because the sun is really about purpose. The sun is about, okay, this person that we are in many respects striving to become in this life. It's how we radiate, it's how we shine and glow. The sun is so much about us, really, I suppose, in a way, living authentically. So to have the sun in Gemini, the sun in Gemini says that you can be quite a playful person, quite a lighthearted individual. And maybe you have many interests. I mean, tons of interests and subjects and topics that you're very, very much interested in. Um, and so you may do a lot of this sort of learning, and your curiosity can show up within your home, right? Because the sun is in the fourth house. I'm thinking to myself here that perhaps the ways in which you can live more of this authentic life is by spending time at home or spending time with family or striking up conversations with loved ones or being able to change up your space, switch up your environment quite a bit. Even Venus is there. Oh, Venus is the same degree as your sun. So, like, they come as a package, right? You can't have one without the other here. So, what I mean by this, Venus is about love and beauty and design, art, creativity, pleasure. So we see this kind of easy breezy quality when it comes to those areas for you. Hey, you know what? I'm thinking to myself, uh, authenticity really shows up as your relationships taking on this curious, versatile quality, right? Where you can perhaps be playful, you can switch things up, right? Spice that. What is it? The spice of life. Variety is the spice of life. Yes, that's the saying here. So again, we want to think about these kinds of qualities and themes related to that of family and home and relationships, partnerships. Plus, Mercury is there. I mean, Mercury is about how we think, how we communicate. So I think that a big part of this question is somehow tied to your mental sort of your mentality, your mental state, your desire to want to learn, but also your desire to want to collaborate or socialize with others to gather information, feedback from others. And the thing about it too is that the North Node, the North Node is also there. So the North Node is tied to our soul's purpose. It's strongly linked to our direction. And I think that's quite an interesting thing to see that both the Sun and the North Node are in Gemini. So they're very much aligned. So what does this mean? Well, I think that this is about really big themes, a big focus tied to family, home. Your emotional needs as well could be a big significant factor here. Maybe also, a big part of this is about tradition. It's about uh, gathering with your family members, those that you do cherish and care about. Maybe also a part of this is about changing up where you live, but then maybe it is that you've actually moved quite a bit throughout your life. I'm wondering to myself, maybe that's even a part of your authentic path, so to speak. It's sort of being able to change your environment or change where you live so that you can experience maybe greater freedom, or so that you can more live a life where you can explore sort of other options. Because Gemini is just it's a very curious sign. It loves to dabble in things and really loves to switch things up. And we just see all of these qualities then really pouring into that of home life, family life. And I'm also going to say here that the rising sign is Pisces. So I think there's also a part of this where there's greater versatility, of course, with Pisces, but this combination, especially with having so many planets in Gemini and then with a Pisces rising, I see this as you being a very creative person, very imaginative. I see this as you also coming across as quite giving or generous and just loving as a person, and making time for others, caring about the needs of others. And well, let's look at this further and think about how the very chart rulers for you, right? So both Neptune and Jupiter, well, they're both in the 11th house. So we see this generosity, we see this charitable sort of part of you, wanting to maybe help other people, assist within maybe organizations or charities or movements and causes and things like that. And in Capricorn, I think this indicates the responsibility factor. Yeah, I think that a big sort of area of focus for you in this life, because of the chart rulers being in the 11th in Capricorn, a big focus for you in this life is tied to communities, and maybe wanting to make a difference within the world, maybe wanting to build something that's long lasting and substantial, and something that means something to you, right? Just yeah, I think with Jupiter there especially, this is about meaning. This is about your beliefs, your worldviews. And hey, what do we see here as well? The very ruler of your 11th in Scorpio, in the ninth house of worldviews and belief systems and things like that. And Mars is also a part of that in Scorpio. So, hey, also see this as you being a very sort of impactful person, just maybe even like influencing others with your words or with your views. And I think there's a part of you that wants to make the world a better place, maybe because of what you have studied, because of the knowledge you have gained over the years. And then I also think, to an extent, here with Uranus in the 10th, this is about you not really conforming, so to speak. You going against the status quo, perhaps in many ways, especially when it comes to sort of work and career and things like that, especially with this South Node also being there. So, what I'm trying to get at here is we bring it back to the North Node in some respects, especially with so much fourth house energy. Yeah, I think a big part of the focus for you, and maybe where you're going to feel the most aligned or maybe the most sort of happy and feel good, etc. It's about the home life here. It's about your private life. Yeah, the person that you are whenever you are at home, when you're with family. I think those are the kinds of areas that you really prioritize the most, so to speak. Well, I hope, let me see here. Alexandra. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so, so much. Um, yeah, conjunct Venus. Okay, amazing. So let's see. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Okay. Um, let's see who is next. Who has booked next? Let's have a look. Claudia, hello, welcome. Welcome back, Claudia. Thanks for being here. And then we also have now, if with my pronunciations of words or your names, I do apologize, but I'm going to say here Graham. Is it Graham? Is that how you pronounce your name? Let me know. And again, I do apologize if not, but I am going to enter in Claudia's information here. Let's see. So, like I said, these are just mini readings, just quick to the point. And if you want more in-depth readings, you can always go to my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you so much. Okay. We're yep. Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, career. Career over the next few months. Let's explore. Yep. And then I will look at the chat in just a moment. I'm just trying to get the chart ready. Oh, okay, awesome. I got your name correctly. Great. That's good. Okay. Oh, brilliant, Alexandra. Amazing. Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me just take a moment for you, Claudia, to explore what is coming up for you. Oh, let me have a look at transits, actually. Let me just grab that. I always have to have separate charts. That's just the way my brain works. Like, you know how you get the big chart and then it has all the different layers? That's too overwhelming for me. Okay. Let's have a look. Career, right. Your career planet. Your career planet is Saturn. Okay, we're just going to break it down then, slowly but surely. But bear with me, Claudia, as I try my very best to explore this. So, over the next few months, you want to know about, right? So, your career planet, if it were, is Saturn, right? Because the midheaven is in Capricorn, you've got your 10th house in Capricorn, Saturn rules this sign. So what's Saturn doing in the chart, right? So Saturn, of course, you have experienced your Saturn return. It's still, I would still technically say the Saturn return is happening for you. But it's still sort of easing up a little bit, not as intense. So what does this mean? Well, this is a time when perhaps it does feel very changeable or almost like there is a push to make a difference in your life. Maybe this is about, okay, what am I actually doing with my life? Where am I headed? What do I want? You know, there are these strong themes, I think, to do with your purpose. Purpose is really coming up for you. And I'm also going to say here, with Neptune and Uranus being in your 10th house, maybe what you often face when it comes to your career path, if it were, are things like, I'm not really sure if that's what I want. maybe there is this sporadic sort of part of you that changes things, or it's that unexpected events just happen out of nowhere, it seems. Could also be that at times you're not very clear. It's almost like it's just difficult to see things for what they are, because with Neptune, Neptune can be that sort of deceptive, foggy, dreamy planet. But what I'm going to say about this is, I think because with your Saturn return happening right now, it's almost like you're in this period, this in between period, a period where there's a lot happening sort of mentally. You're reflecting a lot, and this is good. I think, hey, self reflection is great, right? We could look at this as healthy self reflection and just this desire to want to go within. And maybe a lot of this is about spiritual practices, or maybe you're trying to, look out for the signs and the symbolism. And hey, you're even, getting a reading with me about this, right? So all of this stuff, great. But you see, Saturn is going to move. Saturn is going to enter Aries, your first house. And it will enter around about May time. I think it's more towards the end of May, but we'll be there for a few months. So just the beginning stages. But by January, February of 2026, then Saturn will fully be in your first house for what, like two to 2.5 years, something like that. Okay. So what does this mean? What does it mean? Saturn crossing that threshold and into your first house, what it says, new beginnings. It says new developments. Developments to do with what? Well, one, yes, career, because Saturn, like I said, is your career planet. It rules your 10th house. Now, it also rules your 11th house, right? Because Saturn also rules Aquarius. So we could also see this as sort of new beginnings to do with maybe companies or firms or organizations and teams and groups. And my goodness, you're already sort of really starting to consider all of this stuff, because it's Aquarius season, right? The sun is activating your 11th house. Mercury is there. Pluto is there. Okay. But back to what I was saying there with Saturn moving into Aries. So there is the career part of it, right? But it's also, I think, about leadership. This is about what you want. This is about taking a stand when it comes to your future and, asserting yourself. Aries is a sign that says, I'm going to assert myself and I'm going to go after the things that I want. And I'm also going to say here that Venus has just entered Aries. So it's in your first. So that's an interesting thing, because Venus is this attractive force. It's tied to finances or resources, especially for you, right? Venus is your second house planet. So all of this stuff to do with resources, it's like, okay, I'm ready for a new chapter, a new start. How do I make more money? This stuff could be going on for you. Maybe partnerships is a part of this too. Like, who do you want to work with? Or if it is, within your current role, maybe you're trying to negotiate or you're trying to reconsider your options, things like that, because Venus is also your 7th house planet, right? So all of this stuff is already kind of starting. It's starting. But you see, Venus is going to retrograde. There's going to be the Venus retrograde. Boom. Dates. Let me give my dates. I want to give you the right dates. I'm pretty sure it's the 1st of March. Yeah. 1st of March until the 12th of April. Yes. 1st of March until the 12th of April, your finance planet, your partnership planet is going to retrograde. Now, part of that will be in Aries. So that part will be in Aries from, well, we'll just split it into half because I don't want to bore you with too many details here. Anyway, what does this all mean? I think Venus retrograde will be an opportunity during that time period to really go over, right? Okay, like, what do I desire? What kind of money do I want to make? Am I being compensated for my work? Is there anything I want to change? Reprioritize a few things. It's a way to kind of maybe even shift your point of view or shift your perspective, of course, because Mercury is going to be involved in the whole thing as well, because Mercury will also retrograde. but really use the retrograde just as an opportunity to maybe properly reevaluate, okay, how stable do I feel? Is this role, is this position satisfying me? Can I commit to it for the long haul? Can I be consistent with it? Um, Also, maybe even there's something about your skills, your talents that could come up to the surface, or you could reevaluate things. Also, it's just about money, right? It's looking over your money, your budget, spending habits, saving, things like that. Maybe also a part of that, the reassessment, the review as Venus is retrograde will be about contracts and agreements. Maybe it's somehow tied to your current role or position or possible role or position you're interested in, right? Applications and interviews and all that stuff. And so it's just about sort of taking your time to like go over that stuff and to reevaluate, to see what comes up in terms of, right, is this what I'm passionate about? Is this something that I would enjoy? Is this maybe going to make a difference for other people, right? Because a part of the Venus retrograde will be in Pisces too. And I'm also thinking to myself that what you perhaps prioritize the most when you kind of think about career and stuff like that, I think a big part of it is about helping other people. That's what I'm getting from you because Saturn's in Pisces, and let's also think about how the moon itself is in Virgo, right? That's a very service focused, orientated sign. Yeah. So, all in all, what I'm trying to get at here for you, Claudia, is Venus retrograde. Listen to your hunches, reflect upon what comes up. And I'm talking about business stuff. I'm talking about collaborations and clients and contracts and agreements and employers and bosses and all those things. Just reconsider things, review things, reflect, take that time. And then I'm also going to say, do keep in mind that, especially with Saturn, we go back to how Saturn is your career planet. We're going to see new developments, whether that be, hey, it could be a completely different path. It could be a promotion. It could be some sort of recognition. Yeah. Now, just one more thing before we close off, though. One more thing I just feel the need to mention is Neptune will be a part of that Saturn transition, right? So, hey, a positive way to think about Neptune is, what is the dream? What is the dream? Ask yourself that. And then also with Saturn involved, right? Because Neptune will go into Aries 30th of March, then Saturn will join May time. They'll be very close together for a couple of months. During that time period, right? Go, right, well, what is my dream? What are my sort of aspirations? But then equally, with Saturn involved, it's about, am I being realistic here? Am I being really sensible about this? Can I show maybe some caution? Just use that energy, work with it, see what comes through for you. And hey, maybe by the time both enter 2026 time, you could find that you're in a whole different role, whole different position. Hey, maybe that's ushered in the first time throughout 2025. Anyway, Claudia, thank you so much. Let's see. I hope I am. Let me see. Others are booking. Thank you so much. Let me just have a look here. And I will look at the chat in just a moment. Sorry. Just give me a second. Okay. I need to be mindful as well because when we become fully booked, I want to obviously edit the description. But yes, Graham, we're going to be moving on to you. Thank you so much. And let me just check the chat here. Claudia, great. Awesome. And Jasmine, you have booked as well. Let's see who else has came through. So we have Graham, and then we have Carol. Thank you so much. Yes, and then Jasmine. Amazing. Oh, right. I see. Let's have a look at the chat and see what you said, Jasmine. Oh, I need to take down your info because it wasn't included in the PayPal link. Uh-huh. Okay. And let's see. Yep. Love life. I love life. Shadow work. I will scroll back up when it's your time, okay? And then I'll look over the information again. But yeah, there's a lot of focus on love life for you, Jasmine. Got it. Okay. Right. Graham. It's Glasgow. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay, great. No. Oh, maybe. Could be. I'm wondering to myself, is it that you're looking at your using it? You're looking at your chart using the Placidus system, because you said that you have a stellium in the first house. So let me see. Okay. Graham, I just want to ask you a quick question. If you're still there, of course, Graham. And yes, no problem, Jasmine. Okay. So for those who, of course, do book, for those who do book, your video will be up, right? Your reading will be here. It'll be available. I keep the video up on the channel, so then you can come back to it whenever you need to. And yeah, like I was saying there, Graham, if you are still there, I hope you are. I have a quick question. I think I'm feeling called to read your chart using the whole sign system. Yes, that's definitely what I'm feeling. I feel like you will benefit from the whole sign system. Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to use the whole sign system for your chart, Graham. Okay. Go back. Ba-da-bum. Okay. Oh, sorry, Jasmine. My apologies. It was my mistake. In about 20 minutes. So no. It will probably be, I've got Graham's and then Carol's after, say 2025. Yeah, maybe about 2025. But just, yeah, I honestly, I can't really say. I can't really say. Right. So, Graham. Right. So you want to know about your first house placements here, Graham. And I'm going to start by exploring those placements and then we'll go from there. Amber, yes. So what you do is you go to the link below. There's the payment link below. And you need to make sure that you're giving me your date of birth, time of birth, and your place of birth. I need all those things from you. And if you do have a question, yes. Right. Graham, let's see. Just give me a moment while I look over your chart. And then I will check back on the chat in a moment, okay? Thank you so much. Okay, let's do this. Great. So, what we see here is that both the rising and the sun are in Capricorn. Right off the bat, what I'm seeing here is that you are a very self-sufficient individual, self-reliant as well, right? You're someone other people can rely on and depend on. The way I see this is whenever you say you're going to do something, you do it. You commit. You commit. And I also think that with the self-sufficient stuff, there are themes here of you, in many ways, being made to be self-sufficient from a pretty young age, right? So having a lot of responsibility, perhaps from very early on. And I'm thinking to myself, it's that especially your parents, right? Your parental figures, your could have been your father more specifically, right? Because Capricorn rules the father, and the sun is also tied to the father in astrology. But yes, your parents or your father really instilled this. Okay, it is time to get on with things. It's time to take responsibility, holding yourself accountable for your actions, for your mistakes, for your certain faults, things like that. Maybe also growing up with a lot of hardship, I would say, right? Because the thing about Capricorn energy is it can show up as adversity, right? There can be challenges, it can be a struggle with Capricorn placements. So the struggle for you, for example, may be more so tied in with your identity, your physical appearance, your body, things like that. Maybe a part of this as well is about hardships related to goals and aims of yours. Maybe at times feeling like, oh, I need to try twice as hard as other people. I have to put in way more hours, way more time to get the results, the same results that other people get, and they're doing less. And it can just feel like that, right? It can really feel like an uphill battle with Capricorn placements. But I'm also here to say, Capricorn. Oh, sorry. I hope I'm not too close to the mic. My apologies. Capricorn is this archetype that ages like a fine wine. And we also are reminded that with Capricorn, things take time. It takes time. So we could look at this as your certain successes, so to speak, the things that you want to achieve in this life, your accomplishments, things like that could just take some time to sort of realize and be part of this waiting stuff and having to put in the effort, having to put in the work involves communication, because Mercury is also in Capricorn. It's actually in the Saturn decan. So I'm thinking to myself, is it that there is some kind of block or limitation to do with communication? I'm even thinking to myself, how able were you to communicate what you needed or wanted growing up? And 2 seconds. Yes. And then I'm also thinking to myself that when it comes to a certain form of study, when it comes to an interest of yours, right, a subject that you're really interested in, I really think you can be this committed individual. I actually think with so much Capricorn in the chart, you're a very disciplined person. You know how to discipline yourself, you know how to take care of yourself. Now, with that being said, there's more to this, I think, because whenever we explore Saturn, which is your chart ruler, Saturn is in Aries in the fourth. So what we see when we explore your limitations and your hardships tied to Capricorn, the restriction stuff, limitation stuff, what we see here is that there does seem to be some form of restriction tied to independence and freedom and spontaneity and getting what you want. What I'm getting from this is that whenever you are not living with your parents, when you're not, this is where you're really gonna come into your own. I think with Saturn, especially in your fourth, maybe, well, in Aries as well, maybe from for as long as you can remember, you've had this itching feeling to kind of get out and to be independent and to do your own thing, and um yeah, to move out, if it were. Now, there's also aspects of this though where I think still this, it's not so straightforward, right? It's still a bit of a struggle, it's still a bit of an uphill battle, right? There can be these setbacks you experience, there can be self-doubt that you experience. It's like, when is this ever going to move? When it comes to the my family life or the things I'm trying to fight for and defend, when it comes to my home and my living situation, it just feels hard, you know? Yeah. Now, I also want to mention that your Saturn return will be coming up. Yeah, more so towards, I would say, the end of 2027, 2028, something like that, because Saturn's at a pretty late degree in Aries. So basically, what you're about to approach here, Graham, could be what feels like a turning point in your life. It could be that actually you really start to take the initiative, you start to assert yourself strongly. When it comes to family, when it comes to your living situation, maybe it's that you're trying to like build a solid foundation, or you're trying to make something of yourself, right? And I'm also going to say this: wherever Aries is in the chart, we want to be victorious. We want to win. We challenge ourselves. We say, "No, I'm a fighter. I can do this." It's very much the archetype of Aries. And so we can look at this as you approaching a pretty significant time in your life where you're like, come on then, keep throwing that stuff at me. The challenges, the blockages, you know what? I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep moving forward. There's such a persistence here with you. Perseverance, my goodness. Right. There's couple more things just to mention here. Do recognize that there is the moon and Mars in Libra in the 10th. So, first of all, Mars, right? So, Mars does indicate our assertiveness. It's about motivation, it's about drive, it's about passion, it's about grit. Okay, it's that internal drive to sort of push. So, Mars in Libra in the 10th indicates to me that, well, you can certainly make significant moves when it comes to your professional life. And you're going to do that in a pretty diplomatic, harmonious way. You can draw from your skills and your talents, your gifts, to do with, could be socializing. It could be to do with trying to see both sides, negotiating a little bit, maybe drawing from creative talents or gifts of yours. Hey, you've got Venus. You've got Venus in the second house as well there, a conjunct Neptune. So we see some skills and talents tied to your creativity with an edge, creativity that makes a statement, but hey, not in an obvious way, right? It's more about thinking outside of the box, maybe shocking people, surprising people. Maybe some fantasy stuff is involved in this, art, photography, media. And then with the moon also in the 10th, I think that ultimately here, what you're striving for in this life is to feel, right? It's feeling like, yes, this is the role, this is the position for me, where I can maybe make a difference in the world, where I can support other people, I can collaborate with other people. Yeah, challenges are likely, of course, with the square influences. Well, let's just put it this way. I suppose it's more of a T square, right, between the fourth, 10th, and first houses. But I mean, with challenges in astrology, it's where we can really learn. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much, Graham. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much. And let's move on to Carol. Let's see. And I will check the chat in a moment. And just I'm trying to do this. If you're interested in booking a reading with me this evening, you go to the link in the description. I need your time of birth, place of birth, date of birth, and if you have any questions. Okay, so Carol, let me see. Oh, Carol, I have a question for you. Is Carol in the audience? Let me know. Are you there? I do. I have a really important question for you, Carol. Graham. Oh, interesting. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Okay. Having to really support yourself in many ways then. Wow. Responsibility from a very young age. Yeah, your Saturn return is going to be pretty interesting, certainly. Thank you. Thank you. And I wish you all the best. Yeah. Thank you for booking. And ultimately I just hope that the information is helpful. I'm not sure. Is Carol there? Because I'm going to say why, Carol. I still need your date of birth. Yeah. So like your day and month, the day and month you were born. I have the year, I have the time, which is great, but I need the day and I need the month. And obviously, oh well, hey, no, it's. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It was under a different name. Phaedra. Phaedra. I really hope I'm pronouncing your name, and if I'm not, I do apologize. Phaedra, I need your uh, day of birth and month of birth. Need those things, and you can email me them. Right, if you don't want to share on the chat, you can email me hannahselsewhere@outlook.com. Okay. Okay. If I'm not good, if I don't have anything, could move on to Jasmine whilst I'm waiting. I could do that. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Carol. Great, 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 great. Let's do this. I'm sorry, I'm just being quiet because I'm trying to focus, by the way. Okay. Checking. Yes, got that. Got that. I've got that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we've got Phaedra, then we have Jasmine, and then Claudia. Okay. Let's see. Right. And for those who are interested in booking today, during this live session, the info on how to book is below. And I also just want to repeat that these are quick readings. If you would like more in-depth readings, more time, etc., you can go to my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you so much. Right. So, Phaedra, let's have a look at your question. Just give me a moment whilst I read your question. Need some water. Career. Okay. Okay, career. Got it. Tarot cards, spiritual work, things like that. Symbolism. Okay, let's see. Ooh, I like this question. Right. Double check. I've got the information. Okay, great. Well, first thing I'm going to say for you, Phaedra, is that you're a Scorpio, right? So you're a Scorpio with actually a Scorpio stellium. So right off the bat, I mean, very intuitive. And I mean, Scorpio is the type of intuition that can read between the lines. It can often be about picking up on what's not said rather than the very obvious. So there's a gift there, I think, especially because Mercury's in Scorpio as well, right? So Mercury is the mind, Mercury is about intellect. But you see, Saturn is conjunct Mercury as well. And Saturn is about, well, Saturn can be about restriction and limits. There can be delays. So the thing about your Mercury placement, right, when we consider this depth, this insight, this intuition, is that it's gonna take time. It's like it's not just gonna come to you overnight, where instantly you're just gonna pick up on something or read into something and you're gonna trust it. I think it requires practice. And here's the really great thing. The sixth house is actually really about how we refine our skills. Yeah. See, the second house is about our skills, right? And so for you to have Cancer in the second house, this can indicate that some of your skills and your potential talents could be tied in with, supporting others emotionally, being empathetic, really being able to empathize with other people's needs and how they're feeling there, right? But you see, the sixth house is about how we refine our skills, how we practice them. And so to have all of this energy in the sixth, my goodness, we can look at this as you taking the time to honestly educate yourself on subjects related to what? Related to the likes of spirituality. I mean, there are loads of tarot readers like with so much Scorpio, and they have a gift, an absolute gift. We could also look at this as you being able to pick up on the shadow, to pick up on people's sort of deeper layers, their hidden intentions. That is the beauty of Scorpio. Right. So yes, I mean, yes, this is what we see. I think that's really, really fascinating, honestly, to ask such a question, about tarot cards and spiritual work and things like that. And then to see so much Scorpio in the sixth. But then we also want to throw into this, right? What do we have? We have the moon in Pisces. In Pisces, right? Pisces is this spiritual archetype. Pisces is the archetype that is so much about ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge, but it's also a very, very creative sign. It's very artistic. It can get lost in its own sort of imagination and be very dreamy. And yeah, I mean, these are the kinds of ways that you can show up perhaps within your career. It's a mystical sign. So you could look at it perhaps as the Scorpio part of you having the focus, having the concentration, especially with Saturn conjunct Mercury. But then the Pisces part of you can go with the flow, right? Can sort of adjust a little bit, can maybe come at things from a different angle and not be so fixated, because I guess that's the thing about But Scorpio energy, one of the challenges you may find, especially with Saturn there, right? Saturn can look at our challenges in life. But one of the challenges you may find here is the fixation stuff, is the reading maybe too much into things, right? It can be a sign that can get paranoid. It can really go over and over and over the same sort of thought. It can also be a sign where it can self-destruct, right? So maybe this is a challenge for you. It's to kind of also recognize whenever you take things too far to the extreme, there is that. So maybe a part of Pisces, right, with the Pisces moon, that can assist you with some healthy, hold on a second. Let me just reset. Let me reset. Let me recharge. Let me take a step back. But then equally, I think with your moon in Pisces, right, consider how, again, with the moon, right, the moon rules your second house, right? We talked about the second house a moment ago with Cancer there. So with the moon in Pisces in the 10th, there's something nurturing about your presence. There's something very calming. There's something very serene about your presence. What I'm getting from this is that people they just open up to you because you make them feel so, well, not judged. It's like you do not come across as judgmental. You come across as very like open and just willing to listen. I mean, my goodness, Scorpio is also a sign that says, give it to me, whatever it is, just tell me the truth. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I would rather you just tell me the truth and it hurt me than you lie to me. And that just is a way to keep the peace. Just tell me the truth. So this is the sort of influence I'm getting from you. It's this presence that you provide. But I'm also going to highlight, here's a really interesting thing. A really interesting thing. The North Node is in the 12th. It's in the 12th. So it's in Taurus. Taurus can be about finances, how we earn money, right? But you see, the North Node in the 12th house is about spirituality, our spiritual gifts, our spiritual practices. However, the South Node is in Scorpio. And so maybe a part of your lessons here is to question yourself and to go, hold on a second. Am I giving into the extremes again? Am I spiraling maybe out of control here? And maybe even a part of this stuff is tied to your health, the everyday, the practical, the mundane. When we think about productivity, your stress levels, right? I'm thinking to myself, is it that in a way spirituality has helped you so much? I'm really thinking, is it that a spiritual practice in your life has helped you so much, has grounded you a lot? And that's also a part of why you want to sort of get into that, right? You want to maybe, you want to help other people. And so your heart's in the right place. Your heart is in the right place. This is what I'm seeing. Now, just a couple other things though I want to mention. Chiron is in Gemini, right? You've got this Gemini rising. Gemini risings, it's like, yes, just the small talk, chit chat, very good with words, can come across as just quite a social, as quite the social butterfly. Let's put it that way. But I'm also going to say, and by the way, I don't mean like all the time. I get it. We all have certain moods and things like that. Even with your moon in Pisces, there may be times when you really just need to reset and you're like, I can't deal with it today. I get that. But Chiron in Gemini kind of says, I've been so hurt. I've been so, sort of put to the side or ashamed for what I've said. And there's maybe this hesitation. There's maybe this, what if? So I think one way to look at this is there could be some fears or resistance here. There could be a few maybe sensitive areas to look at, to face, to address within yourself. But yeah, the other thing about it is keep in mind that Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And so maybe you can be a voice for other people, right? Through what you communicate, through what you say, you could help people massively with your words. Think about how also Mercury is the chart ruler, right? Mercury, again, we go back to Scorpio. So it comes back to this point of your just being so perceptive, seeing things. What I'm getting from this is you see things that so many people don't see. And because you're able to like dig in, right? Scorpio is the sign that kind of burrows into things. You dig in and you pull things out and you present it to people, or you present it to them, and my goodness, that can transform people's lives massively. Yeah. So yeah, I do. I see those themes that you were talking about. Thank you so much. I hope that was useful. I really do. Okay. Whew. Okay, so Jasmine, moving on to you, Jasmine. And I need to just scroll back up to look. And thank you for your patience, of course. Yes. So let's go up, 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 up. Have a look. Right. I'm just gonna look over love life. Got it. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry. Okay. High standards. Okay. Okay, Jasmine, I'm gonna now enter in your information. Yes, so we have Jasmine and then Claudia afterwards. Okay, double check. Okay. Just remove that one. Yep. Okay. I'm just gonna get some timing techniques for your reading, Jasmine. And let's see. Yep. 7. Just being quiet because I'm trying to focus. Yep. 4th. Okay, 4th and then into the 5th. Okay, got it. And then, yep. Progressions. And then transits. Rightio. Oh, move. Yeah, great. Cool. Okay. All right. Got it. Yes. Got it, Jasmine. Just give me a moment and I will look through your chart now, okay? And also, do you know what? I am going to just edit the title quickly. I'm just editing the title so that I can say that we're fully booked for this session. Yeah, we're going to do yours, Jasmine, and then Claudia, and that will be us for this evening. Thank you so much to all of you who booked this evening. It's been good. And just, yeah, I'm trying to just edit it now so that we close it off. Okay, is that us? Is that us? Great. Okay, cool. So, looking at your chart now, Jasmine. Right, there's quite a bit here. So, a lot of the focus is on your love life, of course. Right, let me just check the chat. And to answer your question, it's not free. Well, it's we're fully booked for this session, but basically the instructions are down below. So for next time or whenever I'm back, you'll know. You go to the payment link and then you insert your time of birth, place of birth, and your date of birth, and that's how you book. But as I say, we are fully booked for this session. Thank you. Right. So, Jasmine, yes, a lot of stuff here to do with your love life. Very, very interesting indeed. And what we're going to touch on then is how, when we explore the fifth house, right? So, the fifth house is the house of love, it's the house of romance. It can tell us a thing or two about dating, okay? The fifth house, right? Mars is there. Mars is tied to our aims, it's tied to our motivations, our drive, our willpower, right? So, we see this, I suppose, this potential drive within you to want to pair up, partner up, connect with others. And that doesn't just have to be about love and romance, when it comes to dating and such, your love life and such, but it could also be about, um, friends and people that you enjoy spending time with. Now, with that being said, Chiron is there as well. So there seems to be some type of trigger or sensitive area, possible wound, tied to relationships, tied to especially specifically asserting yourself within relationships. We see here the possible hesitations. And I do find it interesting, you were talking about with insecurities and things like that, and you were maybe relating that back to that of Saturn and Aries. And what I find interesting about that is how Saturn does make a trine to the sun in Leo, right? The sun is at home in Leo. The sun likes to be in Leo. And what I'm trying to get at from this is that sun in Leo says, okay, this is me. This is who I am. I'm expressing myself. I'm being I'm being upfront about things. There's a warmth. There's a warmth to you, I think. There's a generosity that you sort of give off as well, right? And it's so much about this natural radiance, this natural glow that many Leos have. But of course, what do we see? We see on one side of this, we see Saturn, right, making the trine, but we also see on the other side of this the sextile to should we kind of as a sextile move 7 degrees away? Well, maybe slight, but still, right? There's Chiron there. So what does this mean? This can indicate that there's some sort of challenging point or this difficulty in maybe being a part of the group or maybe trying to collaborate or to be involved with other people there. Of course, Saturn as well is in its fall in Aries, right? So, what I'm getting from this is what are the sort of, first of all, what are the thoughts that you tell yourself about self expression? Have you at any point been sort of shamed or put down or rejected during times when you try to initiate within the group? Maybe this sort of assertiveness, this ability to initiate within groups and teams and clubs and friendships, hey, friendships with the 11th house, those things will really start to come up as Saturn moves into Aries over the next few years and you start to approach your Saturn return. I mean, it could be quite big for confidence, quite big for your self esteem, major sort of shifts there happening, right? Because of that trine to the sun as well in Leo. And keep in mind, the sun in the third house here is really about communication. It's about see me, recognize me. I have something to say, especially with you having a Gemini rising mixed in with that, right? The Gemini rising, you know, it can come across as quite engaging and social and friendly and things like that. And then with the sun and Leo, I mean, there's a kind of way that you express yourself quite boldly and confidently, but yet we're still noticing those potential blockages and challenges and setbacks present because of Saturn making an influence. Now there's more. There is more to this. So we go back to Chiron, right? And so Chiron can suggest maybe the slight insecurities or the challenges to do with initiating, to do with asserting yourself. Even Mars is in its detriment in Libra. So maybe a part of it is sort of like the hesitation, the pulling back rather than moving forward, or maybe there's some sort of fear, right? I'm thinking here, is there fear of rejection? Is there fear of abandonment? I'm also thinking as well, have you been, rejected in a really like horrible way or in a way where you felt so humiliated? And then I'm also thinking, have you experienced a significant breakup throughout your life where it's just been so like paralyzing? It's so debilitating. Like, how could that have happened? This is where I'm going here. And then the other thing about it is Venus, right? Oh, just quickly, actually, when it comes to love, when it comes to these relationships, these romantic relationships, I think all in all, what you're seeking is you're seeking harmony. You're seeking a give and take, right? You're seeking give and take. You're seeking some sort of mutual, this mutual respect, this reciprocity. Okay. But we want to think about Venus. So Venus is the ruler of your fifth, and it's in Virgo. And how fascinating! I mean, you were saying about like high standards and things like that, and no one seems to sort of meet your standards. And Venus and Virgo can be like this. Venus and Virgo can suggest that when it comes to love and relationships, there are certain sort of standards, not just of other people, but also the standards that you have towards yourself, right? So I think these are the kinds of things that maybe you grew up with, or maybe were somehow influenced or shaped by your family. That's what I'm thinking. I'm also kind of thinking, is it that you're looking for someone that you want to make, so you're looking for someone who is that your family is proud of, or like your loved ones are proud of, right? That's also where I'm going with this slightly. And the other thing I think about it is that with the North Node in Virgo, your soul's purpose, so to speak, your direction that you're headed in, I think it does involve being somewhat critical, right? Using your critical thinking skills or critiquing things. Um, I think also it does involve, in some respects, yes, okay, having those high standards and sort of being aligned with those and not really judging yourself for those either with the North Node, because I feel like the North Node supports this stuff at the same time. Now, with the South Node being in Pisces, maybe even a part of the South Node in Pisces says it's trying to ease up a little bit on any sort of overly idealistic views. What I'm getting from this partly though is the ideals of relationships, what you maybe project onto them slightly, or what you want to see. Or I'm thinking as well, is it that you can really indulge in the dream of a relationship rather than in the reality of a relationship. And maybe that's a part of what the North Node and Virgo is trying to teach you a little bit. It's like, sure, okay, have standards, right? That's great. But what if there's a certain, I'm thinking, how much do you maybe put certain expectations on a pedestal? It's like, this is the ultimate dream. This is the ultimate thing that I need to have within my relationships. And that's different to standards, I think. That's a different sort of vibration. Yes. And then what can happen, of course, is like you're disappointed and, things maybe don't go according to plan based on your own sort of ideals. It's what you put onto them. And well, we also notice that the moon is in Sagittarius, right? In the seventh, right? Because the seventh house can be about relationships and attraction and everything. So I do think that there's a part of you that well, on one hand, I think that the ways in which you approach relationships is by being quite spontaneous, adventurous. I think that you want to also be quite free and playful and just jovial within relationships. But another way to think about this is that you could very well enter into partnerships and relationships where, maybe it does involve a lot of travel, or maybe it's about you being with someone from a different country or a different city, with Sagittarius there. Or maybe a part of it is about what you need, right? Your emotional needs within relationships is you need adventure. Like, you need someone to like go on adventures with, to have fun with, to enjoy yourselves together. My goodness, your sun is in Leo and your moon is in Sagittarius. But I'm also going to say this for you, Jasmine, which it's quite interesting, and that's why I wanted to look at some timing techniques. So, your next birthday, and I know it's not for another what, like 6 months, August time. But anyway, whenever you turn 28, okay, the fifth house is going to be activated for you. So, what does this mean? It's going to be a pretty love life filled year. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I think we could see significant changes to do with your love life, romance, things like that. But what I want you to keep in mind throughout the year, then, again, this is activated from your birthday for the year. Keep in mind exploring Venus. Explore the path of Venus throughout the year and see what it's doing. Of course, we're not going to be able to do that today. But yes, just a quick tip for you. And that's us. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jasmine. I hope it was somewhat helpful for you. And like I said, these are quick readings. They're quick. They're quick readings. There's more I could say. Yeah, and you can book a reading with me going to hannahselsewhere.com. Okay, let me see. Okay, okay. Let me see, Jasmine. Wow, okay, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe, those things that you talk about, and I suppose that's the thing too with Chiron in your fifth house. Like, the fifth house is about self-expression as well. It's about our individuality. It's about ego, having a healthy ego. So Chiron there could indicate some kind of wound. So yeah, maybe for you, your Saturn return, which will be coming up over the next couple of years or so, it's going to be very eye-opening for you when it comes to like being included, being involved, being a part of the group, loving yourself as well, right? Also very fifth house. But thank you so much, Jasmine. Okay, now, lastly, let's see. We have Claudia. Let me just enter in your information, Claudia. Okay, I'm just double checking everything. Yes. Okay. Um, waiting wise for a longer reading, it can take a couple of weeks, but yes. Um, as I say, my website is hannahselsewhere.com, and then we can get that sorted if you're interested. Thank you so much. Okay, so Claudia, yes. Let's do this. Let's do this. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. But we are, for those who are interested, we are fully booked for this session. Let's see. Okay. Question is about health and your profession, positive and negative. Let me just get some timing techniques. Okay, I'm just looking at your chart. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jupiter, Uranus. Neptune. Regarding profession and health. Okay. Let's begin then for you, Claudia. And let's start off by saying that the sixth house is the house of health in astrology. And the the 10th house is the house that is tied to our profession. Now, so is the sixth house, right? The sixth house can also be about work and our services there. But indeed, the 10th house also shows up as our professional lives, just our professional identity, our public identity. And what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks or so is both Venus and Mercury are going to retrograde. Now, Venus and Mercury retrograde will happen throughout March and April time, right? So, about March, April time of 2025, they will retrograde in your fifth and fourth houses. Why is this important? Because one, Venus rules this area of life tied to your health and your work and your services. And two, Mercury then rules this professional life of yours, this public identity of yours. Therefore, with the retrogrades happening, you will have an opportunity, Claudia, to maybe reflect upon, to revisit, to review. Okay, well, work wise, profession wise, what is it that makes me feel comfortable and secure? Do I feel fulfilled, especially emotionally? You know, a lot of this could be about your emotional needs, your emotional security, because the moon is in the 10th house in your chart. Maybe it will be an opportunity to even analyze and to review your confidence there. when it comes to work, when it comes to health matters. Could also be about, okay, well, is there anything that you want to change for the better? Perhaps even a part of it will involve some time off, right? Just some time off to step away for a bit so that you can review such areas. And a lot of this stuff will be tied to goals, right? Because Aries is a very goal orientated sign, right? Goals, individuality, maybe freedom, independence, these kinds of themes will come up. And then I'm also thinking to myself that what you will revisit will be somehow tied to that of your family life too. Almost as if you're needing to take a step back and to review where you are in terms of family and home so that you can maybe feel more supported within work, or so that you can make significant changes at work. Maybe it is these kinds of conversations that are going to be had. It's like you discussing with your family, with your loved ones. Of course, this could be your partner, this could be your spouse, this could be, thinking about your children if you have children, right? But whatever the case may be, yeah, it's almost like you're having to make some decisions about the next step, profession wise, work wise. Now, here's the other thing about it. Yes, okay, sure, the retrogrades will happen throughout March and April, and there could be some conclusions, some decisions that you reach. Interesting. But I'm also going to say this. The South Node has just entered your 10th, right? It will transit your 10th for the next 18 months or so, until about July of 2026. So throughout this period, I think that you'll be letting go of a few things. Maybe letting go of habits that do not align with you professionally. Maybe letting go of certain standards or expectations that you have upon yourself that are not actually useful, they don't serve you very well. Maybe a part of it too will involve lightening the load slightly. Virgo can be a sign that can stress out about things. And especially with you having your moon in Virgo, right? We could see this as you possibly feeling quite stressed or overwhelmed, especially maybe professional wise, work wise, just the 1 million and things, 1 million and one things, 1 million and one things to do, right? The list can be endless with this Virgo influence. And don't get me wrong, right? With your moon in Virgo here, we can see that, my goodness, especially in combination with the sun in Capricorn, you know how to get things done. You know how to get things moving along, right? Very hands-on person. And those kinds of skills that you have, great, great, very, very practical. You make use out of things, maybe very good at kind of planning things and stuff like that. Now, having said that, Neptune's also a part of that. You've got Pisces influence too. So yeah, there can also be times when planning not so effective. Let's just put it that way. But still, what I'm trying to get at for you, Claudia, is that profession wise, you could be easing up on a lot of maybe qualities that just do not serve you, using great discernment to kind of go, is this working? And at the same time, the North Node will travel through your fourth house as all of this is happening. So there could also be this intake, right? This greater input, this intake to do with family life, home life. Maybe there is a part of it where you're wanting to experience greater peace, maybe wanting to spend more time with loved ones. Maybe these are going to be big priorities for you. Maybe it is about having to make serious decisions about family stuff. Maybe a part of it involves new goals, family goals, or relocating or travel, or having to make certain adjustments, things like that. And the pressure may be on right now for you because Saturn is right there. Saturn is with the Mars and Jupiter planets in your fourth house. So I think there are new foundations that are being built, when it comes to family stuff. So I think in a way, your priorities are changing. This is what I'm getting, especially from the South Node traveling through your 10th. Your priorities are going to change massively. And these priorities of yours will be tied to that of, okay, I need to put my health first. I need to put my health first. Let me just look through dates here a second. Yeah, so there's actually going to be a lunar eclipse coming up in Virgo. It's going to happen on the 14th of March. And one of the sort of slogans, I guess, I put for that full moon, which I haven't made a video about it or anything yet, but what came through was how to put your health first, because without your health, well, I mean, what do you have, right? So I think that that could be a full moon that's going to illuminate a lot. It's going to bring a lot of stuff up to the surface for you when it comes to health and making your health a priority in huge ways for you, Claudia. And then let me just go back to your chart again. Yeah, especially with you already having the moon in Virgo. Indeed, this is what we're getting. And hey, you know what? That, let me see here. Yeah, that full moon will actually make a square to Uranus in your first house. Now, the first house can be about our vitality, it can be about our physical body, our health. Yeah, the first house can rule our health. So, yeah, there's going to be something unexpected, something that's going to really change for you. I see this as a major turning point and maybe a breakthrough. Maybe a breakthrough. Maybe this moment of I quit, maybe a time of, you know what, this is the revelation I'm having about my role or about what I want to do, and it's time to make a change. Right? This is what we're getting from that eclipse that's going to come up. And of course, keep in mind that you got to give things time as well with eclipses, um, because it could be that it's still about giving things some months to sort of materialize, let's so to speak, right? Okay, let me just think here, look over here if there's anything else I want to add to this. Okay, progressions. Yeah. Venus, Mercury. Sorry if you can hear my stomach. It's just growling. Okay, well, I'm also going to say this. So the secondary progressed Venus. Let me just double check. Yeah, the secondary progressed Venus right now is in Sagittarius, actually. And it's very close to those other Sagittarian planets. So let's try and kind of reflect a little bit on this Sagittarius influence, because there's quite a bit of Sagittarius within you, right? So Sagittarius is this archetype that is so much about freedom and exploration. And with you having, especially Saturn there and Mercury there, we see this as you being a very committed, disciplined person in many ways, right? So whenever you do perhaps say, you know what, I want to learn this new subject, I want to study this, you can really go all the way and you can commit to a certain plan if you need to. Now, there could also be some changeable qualities there because it is Sagittarius. And there could also be times, of course, with Uranus involved, you want to break free. You're just like, no, I'm done with this. And you just break away, you break free. So there is that part of it. But I'm also thinking with Venus then, the secondary progressed Venus being in Sagittarius, where it is, I'm thinking to myself, is it that there have been some setbacks or limitations that have occurred? Could maybe be tied to your mental health, your mental well being, because Mercury is a part of it. And so this could be where you're at right now. And then, hey, the thing is that very full moon, we go back to the full moon, the eclipse, right? The full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th of March. That's also going to trigger, I think, that secondary progressed Venus. So, what could that be? I mean, that could be some significant transition to do with work, to do with health. Maybe a part of it is about, okay, well, what money do you want to make at work? Or is there anything that you want to change about your finances or about the duties you do at work? maybe for health reasons, possibly. And then, of course, even Uranus itself has been transiting your seventh house. And so there have been those sort of jolts and unexpected shifts happening when it comes to your daily routines and your daily habits, things like that. And I'm going to leave this mini reading on this note. Remember that Uranus is going to actually move out of your sixth house, and that's going to happen about July time. July until about October time. Okay. And then of course it will go back into the sixth for a few months, and then by 2026, the 7-year transit of Uranus through your seventh will begin. But what does this mean in layman's terms? I think that what's going to come up for you here, Claudia, is that these jolts, these unexpected changes to do with services and your health and your routines and so on, work and so on, things are going to ease, right? The things are not going to be as, as intense. I think there's going to be maybe some new developments where you can start to be a bit more consistent again and just moving a bit more slowly, and maybe also thinking about what the Uranus in your sixth house transit has taught you. I'm thinking to myself, is it that being able to change up your routines has taught you a lot about, how to change things up when you need to, or how to be consistent, lessons about consistency, lessons about practicality, or recognizing things that you can't actually control, things that are outside of your control, for example, health stuff, right? I mean, that, yeah, it goes back to the whole thing of you have to put your health first and make it a priority. I'm also thinking about, fitness routines, your diet. Maybe there have been significant changes you've made. Um, and perhaps then as well, it's about committing to a possible new plan, a new regime, uh, as especially Uranus eases and moves out of your sixth house. Okay. Well, that was just a quick reading, of course. And there's more. Of course, there's more I could say. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. But ultimately, you know what? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for booking this evening. This has been the live readings. Happy Saturn, or no, Jupiter. Happy Jupiter Day. And that's me. Yeah, I'm gonna get going. Gonna get going. Thank you all so much.